all my comic books?
Oh, it's good to be back.
Our art will always reflect aspects of our reality.
A good character like that, a good concept like that, will endure for centuries.
I am totally amazed at some of the progress that they've made in the comic book movies throughout the years.
And here we go.
Captain Marvels were popular. These were done in serials in the movie theaters. They had these small segments of these movies that took a long time to finish, and that would make them want to go back to the show each week.
They were used a lot for propaganda purposes.
There was a real emphasis on, especially for younger viewers, donations and paper drives and things of that nature. So I think a lot of the entertainment they were getting was also pushing that same idea of being on the lookout for spies, being more conscientious about resources.
For the time, it was very innovative and it was a lot of fun, and it really got people's imagination. It made people realize, wow, there's a big demand. There's a bigger demand than just the comic books and these comic characters.
It brought the superhero from the comic to the screen. So obviously it set precedent. It set the tone for serials to come, and it set the tone for movies to come. Adam West.
The Batman 1963 movie, what a classic, what fun, what a joke. It was quite enjoyable, but him running around left and right trying to figure out where to put a bomb, I mean, I almost peed my pants laughing at that part.
Batman!
It's all right, Robin.
Holy heart failure!
They definitely showed the mind state of the 60s, and it also showed the campy side of things. I mean, he had bat shark repellent. Shark repellent. It just kind of furthered the idea that you can make a successful superhero movie and put that thought in Hollywood's head.
Come on, Robin. To the Batcave. We haven't one moment to lose.
The first Superman movie was good for the movie industry.
It just set the standard. At least those first two, I really believe, set the standard for what you could do, what you could accomplish with a competent director, good writing, and good actors, and not giving into camp. Until the late 70s, putting a guy on screen in spandex was kind of like a risk. You know, it was like, can we do this? I don't know.
They really didn't think that adults would really take it as seriously as they did.
A lot of the comics that came out started to deal with longer form stories, started to deal with issues away from things that might be interesting to children, started to deal with more adult issues.
Once they got these blockbuster numbers and money out of it, they realized, oh boy, we really can do these comic movies and make a lot of money. I was so excited when that movie came out.
What are you? I'm Batman.
It advanced the genre. I'd say it advanced it a lot.
I mean, he had a little bit of a dark side, not very dark, but a lot darker than he did in the campy 60s stuff.
The storytelling started to skew darker, it started to get a lot more tortured, I guess you'd maybe say.
Wait till they get a load of me.
Tim Burton captured the essence of what Batman was.
You could push a superhero movie in terms of the story elements and as far as the darkness of it, the length of it.
That movie made it say, okay, we can do dark. We can do these dark characters. If it wasn't for Tim Burton's Batman, we wouldn't have gotten other films that came down. At this point, we have seen the Die Hards, we've seen the Steven Seagal movies. We are ready for you know, a badass.
They took a character that was in the Tomb of Dracula comics and did a great job bringing them to the silver screen. I think that is one of the movies that really opened up people saying, hey, we need more of this comic book stuff that doesn't seem like comic book stuff.
Blade is definitely a good action film, as well as a good superhero film. We took stuff that you would see in the Steven Seagal movie with some supernatural elements, and bam, you get Blade. So I think that was a good merging. It was just well done, and it wasn't full of bad jokes, bad puns, and you know, guys with rubber nipples on the suit that doesn't need nipples. You know, thank you, Joel Schumacher. I think as we make advances in technology out here, we expect more in the film. We expect more from the filmmakers. We expect them to be able to make these fantastic characters do what they have only done in the printed page or in cartoons.
You're now starting to see a lot of the same things that comics went through in the 1980s, where you're dealing with writers and directors who have gone through 10 or 20 years of superhero films and now are able to process that and try and get something else out of it beyond just you know, popcorn entertainment. They're using it to address issues, to tell stories in the same way they would with any other film.
Why would I save the world I no longer have any stake in?
Now it's reached the point where superheroes and comics in general are able to address those issues as directly or obliquely as any other media.
Come on. Just click it. Don't change any settings. Just click it. What's going on?
The way that people respond to superheroes has gotten more complicated. They're not looking for necessarily a straight-up escapism that they might have in the 50s or 60s or 70s. They're looking for something that maybe reflects more of the psychology of the day or their own hopes and fears. So they're able to look at that the same way they would nearly any other movie, TV show, book, what have you.
I saw young Americans killed by the very weapons I created to defend them and protect them.
In order to pull your audience in, the audience has to see something in that character that draws them to them.
You're fired. Go.
Please, I need this job.
You're fired.
The farther they are away from us, the less relatable they are. We have to find something. If Superman had not been raised on Earth with, you know, farm values, he'd be completely unrelatable. You can't help but see it, but at some point, someone decided, like, you know, we have to scale things down.
It's just that I miss your Uncle Ben so much. Can you believe that it's 2 years next month since he was taken?
I like that they're grounding heroes and giving them these, in the movies, showing the traits that where you can see yourself in that person. You can see maybe certain life circumstances would have forced you to make these tough choices.
I think you're going to get to a point where you're going to get really edgy, honest material.
Beautiful, isn't it?
You've turned every cell phone in Gotham into a microphone.
You'll inevitably see more real-world issues in superhero films.
With half the city feeding you sonar, you can image all of Gotham. This is wrong.
I've got to find this man, Lucius.
At what cost?
I think you're going to be getting people involved in the production of those films that have grown up with those characters or have seen enough kind of just basic versions of that they're going to want to push it to an advanced version. They're going to want to do something that's their stories told with those characters.
Comics and movies share a unique audience. Today, the movies that are being done on comic book characters are not only being seen in America, they're being seen all over the world in many different languages. I just look forward to the future because it looks very promising as far as the comic heroes and the movies